There's nothing more satisfying than walking into the house and the smell of the slow cooker and the delicious food that is ready for dinner takes over. Welcome to Meals with Maria. Today I have slow cooker recipes for you because I know that you love them, you want to see more of them. We have to try new things in our slow cooker because it makes things so much easier. So that's pretty much it. I have some great stuff. I've been piling up recipes. I try and make one of these at least once a month, so here we go. All right, we're gonna make meatloaf and baked potatoes, and yes, we are cooking this all right in the crock pot, except for that broccoli there. I'm making the meatloaf recipe that comes with this like baked potato meatloaf thing from Magical Slow Cooker. And if you haven't checked out that website, it is full of goodies, full of slow cooker recipes that I absolutely love. So I recommend it. I did decide to half the recipe, and I also think that if you have a favorite meatloaf recipe, just go ahead and use that. I think you can throw any meatloaf in here, and I think it worked out fine. And actually, because this recipe you'll see has red pepper in it, I used about half of one diced red bell pepper. You can use green pepper, whatever you have. But because of that, my husband was not a huge fan. So next time I do it, I would actually go and use our favorite meatloaf recipe. But either way, I thought it was still really good. So I'm going to show you the recipe anyway. And then you also want one white onion cut up, diced, whatever. Because I'm halving the recipe, I should have used half, but I love onions, so I threw the whole thing in there. And then you want, it said 3 eggs, but I did 2 eggs, 1/6 of a cup of ketchup, and 1/8 a cup of milk. Spices, we're adding a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then for the breadcrumbs, you want about 12 or so saltine crackers, but I think you could use regular breadcrumbs as well, maybe like 1/4 or 1/3 of a cup of those, whatever feels right as far as the consistency goes. Now go ahead and give it a good mix, and we're going to form it into like a real meatloaf and then place that in the bottom of the slow cooker. And then I have 5 potatoes that I'm going to put inside some tin foil, wrap them all up, and then put that kind of nestle them right on top of the meatloaf. And we're going to bake this, or we're going to cook it in the slow cooker on low for 8 hours, and you don't want to open the lid during the cooking time. And I was shocked because when I was like, is this really going to work? And I opened it up, and the potatoes were perfectly cooked, and the meatloaf was perfectly cooked, and it was delicious. And so like I said, next time I'm probably just going to use my favorite meatloaf recipe, which is actually like the 4-ingredient meatloaf, where you do 1 package of stovetop stuffing, a pound of meat, a little ketchup, an egg, and a little bit of water, and you're good. And that's how I would do it in the future, because that's my favorite. But you know, you do you. And I just cooked up like some steamed broccoli on the side, and it was delicious. 10 out of 10 recommend. So easy. Now, while the slow cooker is amazing when you plan ahead, put everything in there, and you're ready to go that night, it saves you tons of time and potentially money. But sometimes it's just not possible. Sometimes you can't get to the grocery store. Sometimes just life gets in the way, right? And even though I love buying all the groceries and cooking at home, I'm still a big proponent of meal plans, especially when I was pregnant with Ben. I did not feel well, and so I actually utilized HelloFresh. They were super helpful, and I got everything delivered right to my door. And I want to thank HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. With HelloFresh, I'm able to cook high quality ingredients that come from the farm to my door in less than 7 days. And even it's super easy for my husband to be able to cook a meal when he's usually not that comfortable around the kitchen, so I have to tell him where everything is. So especially when I was pregnant, it was so helpful to have the meal bags already ready to go with the recipe cards that were very easy to cook, and he was able to make amazing meals for us. I felt good about the quality of the food that I was offering my family when I wasn't in the best shape. This happens to people all the time. This past week I was sick, and I was like saved by the HelloFresh bag because I didn't have like the ability to go out and do everything and get everything that I needed to get, but luckily to my front door comes HelloFresh, and I have everything that I need. So if you're looking for an easy way to eat well and save money, cut back on expensive takeout or delivery, you can get started with HelloFresh. You're gonna love how fast and easy and affordable it is to whip up a restaurant quality meal right in your kitchen with meals ready faster than delivery. HelloFresh has a new line called Fast and Fresh Recipes, and they feature robust flavors and filling portions. They are ready in 15 to 20 minutes. It's amazing. You enjoy taste and quality done quick with recipes like falafel power bowls, seared steak and potatoes with béarnaise sauce. I need to find that because my family would absolutely love it. Or Southwest pork and bean burritos. Recently, our box included 2 family favorites, burgers and tacos, and you can definitely get a little more gourmet with it if you want to, but I chose both of these things because I knew my family would love them. These meals are great for busy weeks and nights when it's extremely helpful to have all the ingredients that I need in one single bag ready for me to cook. What do you think?
Mama would.
For me, having something easy to cook that the family loves is a real game changer. And you know how I absolutely love a deal, so you're getting a deal today. Go to HelloFresh.com and use the code MealsWithMaria65 to get 65% off and free shipping. This is gonna be great for you, I know it. Now back to the slow cooker. All right, here we have steak and cheese sliders. These are so insanely delicious, and these are great for a regular weeknight meal or even for game day or something like that. If you're having people over, they are a great treat. I'm just starting off by slicing up 1 onion, and then I'm also going to cut up 1 red pepper. You can use green pepper, yellow pepper, you know, whatever you have on hand, and you can use as much or as little of this as you'd like. For us, this was perfect with 1 pound of shaved steak. I had found mine on sale a while ago. I threw it in the freezer, and I knew that eventually I would make a meal that I would use it with, and this was the perfect opportunity. You absolutely do not have to make this in the slow cooker. You can just cook it up on the stove and make it like that, but this is great for days where you don't want to be cooking so much right close to eating, right? You want to have half of the meal pretty much already ready. You also want to add salt, pepper, about 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. Then you can either add like a fresh clove of garlic, or I use garlic paste I've been trying to use up, just a few squeezes of that, and then 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Give that a good mix, and we're going to cook this in the crock pot on low for about 6 hours. You can check it, figure out how well it's cooked. Mine was ready perfectly in about 5 actually, so it just depends on your slow cooker, I think. For the sliders, I'm just going to dice up about 1/4, even less than 1/4 cup of just finely minced onion. You want maybe like 2 or 3 tablespoons of that, just really into small pieces, because we're actually going to put that on top of the buns, but it is delicious, so it is totally worth it. If you have a little onion hanging around, go ahead and do it. I have the Martin's potato rolls, but any small rolls that you have will do. And like I said, you can do this on a larger roll too. You could do it as like a full sandwich if you wanted to. The filling is yours to do whatever you like with. You could put it on a pizza. Anything. This slow cooker meal will allow you to use it for whatever your brain desires or whatever your stomach desires. With these rolls, I just top them with a little bit of mayonnaise. I feel like I'm a big fan of the mayonnaise on a steak and cheese, but if you're not into it, then do not add it. Give this a video a like if you saw little Benjamin there and you think he's adorable. And then we're just going to top this with the steak mixture. You can see how those onions and peppers really cook down, and the flavor in this is really delicious. Now for cheese on these, you can use whatever type of cheese that you like. You can use shredded cheese. I'm just using some sliced cheese. I think this is cheddar. I feel like it would be good with American. Whatever you have on hand, go ahead and throw it on there. I promise you it's going to be good kind of no matter what you use, or just use it to your preference. No cheese is bad cheese, right? And go ahead and mayonnaise the top buns too if you like it that way. And then we're going to put some butter over the top of these rolls and sprinkle them with those onions. You want to bake these covered with tin foil at 350 degrees for about 10 minutes, and then you're going to pull the cover off and bake them for another 10 minutes, still keeping them at 350 degrees. And they come out so amazing. That cheese melts right up. The top of the buns get a little bit toasted. The onion is such a great flavor, and I know you're really going to enjoy them. So I hope you try this recipe, because it was definitely, probably, it's hard to say. I want to say it's my favorite out of the 3, but they're all really, really good. When you see the last one, go ahead and comment and just say which recipe is your favorite down in the comments. And I think maybe that will help make a consensus. I'm not sure. You're probably going to have to try them all. Next up, we have hash brown taco bowls or taco casserole, and I had been looking forward to this one for a while. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I had posted this recipe. I was like, it's on the list this week. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, you should, because I'm sharing recipes and a lot of fun stuff over there. I'm going to start off by browning a pound of ground beef. And then once that's browned, you can drain the fat if there is any. I really didn't have any, so I just left mine in there. And then you want 2 minced cloves of garlic. You only want to cook those for about a minute until fragrant. All right, so the recipe totally doesn't call for this, but I had some leftover black beans from something else I was making, so I just threw them in there because I'm like, black beans taste delicious with anything taco, so it's a great way to use some leftover beans. And I think you could even make this recipe without ground beef altogether and just switch out for a can or 2 of black beans or whatever beans you have on hand. And then you want 1 can of cheese soup. So it's like Campbell's cheddar cheese soup. It's a real thing, and it is great for using in the crock pot. Pour in your meat, and then 1 packet of taco seasoning. Then 30 ounces of frozen shredded hash browns. This is nice because they can be like fully frozen, which saves a ton of time. And about a cup of shredded cheddar cheese. I don't think I even had a full cup, but it was fine. I just threw in, what I had on hand. And then it mix everything really well. There's a lot of stuff in here, so you do want to make sure that it gets a good mix. And we're going to cook this on high for 2.5 hours or on low for 4 to 5 hours. I just did mine on high because it was kind of later in the day when I made mine. I love this because this is just kind of like a different way to make something with that same taco seasoning or flavor, kind of switch up your Taco Tuesday. And it's made with things that you usually might have on hand, so it's kind of pantry friendly, right? I served mine with sour cream, some extra cheese, salsa. If I had it, I would have completely used cilantro with this. Whatever you like to put on your taco, you can put on this casserole, and it's absolutely delicious. I want to thank you so much for watching today. Make sure the next time you're on YouTube, you're watching Meals with Maria. And do not forget to go to HelloFresh.com and use the code MealsWithMaria65 to get 65% off and free shipping on your HelloFresh order. And I'll see you all very soon.
Watch where you're going. Go ahead.
Daddy, go!
It's on. Do some nice turns. Nice. All right, let me see a turn. Nice. See another one.